if you're watching this, there's a good chance that you've probably done something like this to a stock Dana 44 shaft. So these shafts have served me pretty well for the last almost 2 years. These are factory shafts on a 38 13.5. So when it finally did let go, I was babying it. I don't know what happened. But for whatever reason, it broke. So I got online, I went to Northridge and decided to give these a shot, because instead of breaking axle shafts, a big guy, I decided that I wanted my ring and pinion to be the weak spot in this whole setup. So we're gonna go through, we're gonna take this apart, we're gonna get these RCVs installed, we're gonna see how they fit. I have Synergy outer axle seals, so we'll see if they fit with those. These are factory Rubicon lockers, so these are the RCVs that fit the factory Rubicon setup. So we're gonna get set up and see how it goes. All right, once we got the wheel off, we're gonna go through, yeah, it's greasy. I'm gonna go through and we're gonna pull these caliper bracket bolts off so we can pop the caliper off. And then the 3 bolts to hold the hub on, we're gonna pull those off. RCVs come with new ones. Pull all that off, and you know, we don't have to slide the old shaft out. The stub is still in there, so that was convenient. So I have to get that off. But we'll slide all that out and see how the new RCVs fit. They have to go in kind of 2 pieces, but see how it goes. Alright, once you've gotten to this point, here's a little trick if you haven't taken these off before, is you can take your 13mm, wherever you put it, up here. You loosen these up a little bit, see if we can get some more light on it. You loosen these up, and then you get your wrench back on it, and then you can come through. You turn the tire out, and so you don't damage the head of that 12 point, and you can tap on it and you can push that hub out. A lot of times they get real stuck, especially if you live in the Midwest where we have salt constantly. These hubs are only like 6 months old. I do have a new set that I just got from O'Reilly's, because I figure if we're taking it apart and putting pretty parts in, might as well attempt to not take it apart again for at least, you know, at least a couple weeks. So I'm gonna get that off, and we're gonna see how it goes. All right, so this is the moment of truth. I'm not gonna put the boot on quite yet, because I want to see if this shaft is gonna fit with. Oh, there's a chunk of look at that, a chunk of spline down there. I'll clean that out in a minute. I want to see if this RCV shaft is going to fit in the outer axle seals that I've currently got. I'm also leaving this plastic on until I'm basically done, to try to preserve the CV joint in there from getting full of stuff. This is fun to do one-handed, but I want to try to keep as much junk out of there as possible. It looks like it will actually fit with the inner axle seal in there, so that's good news. I don't have to replace those. All right, I'm gonna pull this back out, and we're gonna get the boot that goes on there. So it comes with a boot, and you've also got a little tool in here, as well as new hub bolts to clear everything. So we're gonna see how that little tool works. I've heard differing opinions from people on whether or not the tool is worth anything. But we'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes. Alright, the way it's supposed to go is you get this little tool in here, This is the RCV boot tool. You set it all in there nice, and then you pound on that with a mallet or something. So we're gonna hit that, and hopefully we push that boot on and we don't do any damage to it. I almost want to flip that around. Yeah, I think I'm gonna flip that around. I think I got it going the wrong way. We'll see. See if that goes on that way. Not really. Probably would if I didn't have axle seals, but since I do, it might not fit. Alright, that might be our only option, is to put it on that way and see how it goes. Alright, I'm going to keep dropping that for a little while, and once this is finally on there, I'm going to push on this, see if we can get that boot to fully seat in there. Alright, I got the boot started. I actually had to put the hub on and then have the little tool back here, and then I just pushed my body against it until it got started. It's not all the way on yet, so I'm going to tighten these 12 points up a little bit so that they're snug, and then try to tap on the back of this with a mallet and see if it'll pop forward. But I think we're almost there, so we'll come back to it. Okay, that seemed to work pretty well. So I got the hub on and then just kind of whacked it with a mallet until this seated up here, and cranked everything down. They look nice. And then comes with a tube of grease, and you got to pump that. They say, I think like 5-10 pumps, something like that. Pump that full of grease, put everything back together, and in theory, you're good to go. So we're going to do this on the other side now. And anyone who tells you you can't wheel with good sized tires on Dana 44 shafts, these are stock shafts. Yeah, they'll break eventually, but go out and wheel it. I want to do 1 ton someday, but I also like going out and riding, and I can't afford to do 1 tons and ride, so this is the next best thing for now. Finally, we got, last but not least, the only reason anyone ever buys anyone ever buys expensive parts is the stickers. All right, give me a second. I'm gonna put the phone down. There it is. I don't really care if the parts work. I just want to look cool. That's the only reason.